Hello everyone. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for going no contact with my mother because she can't accept that her fiancé isn't allowed around my children? This is going to be a little long, but I want to make sure to add as many important details as possible. My mother, 43F, started dating this guy right before my 25F daughter was born about 3.5 years ago. When my daughter was about 8 or so months old, my mom let me know that her fiancé was going to jail for RA******** a woman. Up until this point, I had no idea he was even on trial for this, and they had been taking my daughter overnight about once a month since she was born. I was pissed to say the least because I would not have sent her with them had I known this was going on. She told me that she didn't tell me because she knew I wouldn't be okay with it and that I would judge him before giving him a chance. She's absolutely correct. I told her right away that once he got out that he was not allowed around my child. I said my mother could still see her as much as she'd like, but he is not allowed around my child, and if he is at a family event, we will not be. We fight on and off over this for the entire time he was locked up, about 2 to 2.5 years, because she believes him that he didn't do this and that the victim and her father hate my mom's fiancé, so they're falsely accusing him. He just got out of jail right before the holidays this past year. I made it clear that my family and I will not be attending. I've had another baby at this point, so that includes my daughter, my son, and husband. My mother and my entire family believes that he didn't do this, so they're mad at me for not giving him a chance and not sitting down to have a conversation about this. I believe that if he was convicted, then he's guilty, and my family has given me no proof that he didn't, but these are the reasons they think he didn't. His lawyer sucked. The judge was surprised that he was found guilty. The victim has since lived herself, so she obviously wasn't right in the head. Before she died, she was laughing about it and telling others that she lied. The victim and her dad hated him. And the one that sends me into an absolute rage, she was epileptic, and they claim this was happening during her seizures, so she would have been completely rigid, so how could he have done it if she was rigid from a seizure? Mind you, I have seen no proof that any of these things are actually true. No court transcripts to show that the judge was surprised. Not the evidence that they claim his lawyer didn't use that would show he's innocent. No proof that the victim was going around admitting that she was lying. They've basically been wanting me to take everyone's word for it. They also say that I need to set aside my personal opinions and show up for family despite our differences. Not once in the past 3 years have I wavered on the fact that he is not allowed around my children. It all came to a head when I said we were not attending Christmas or Thanksgiving. My mom started an argument with me over it again, and I basically told her I was done fighting over this. I will continue to keep my children safe and away from this potentially dangerous person, and since my mother is not seeing where I'm coming from and keeps pushing the issue, I've decided to go no contact. My entire family is mad at me for this because they believe he didn't do this. So am I the bad person for not allowing him around my children and now going no contact with my mother? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for agreeing to take custody of my siblings from their dad when he asked me if I'd raise them, since I'm fine taking his wife's role? My mom died 4 years ago. I, 20F, was 16 at the time. My younger siblings were 7, 8, and 10 at the time. We have different dads, and mine was never in my life, so I went to live with our shared grandparents, and they went to live with their dad and his wife. My siblings and I still saw each other and called and texted daily. Their dad wasn't that cool with it, and he did try to interfere, but our grandparents said they would get the courts involved to allow access if they needed to. My siblings come to me for stuff. My sisters for the girl stuff, and my brother just in general. Honestly, I did a lot of the emotional mom stuff, like talking about periods with my sisters and even sex and contraception and consent. They both came to me when their period started, and I gave them period products and helped them find the right ones. When they're sick, I'm the first person they tell. Like, I'll wake up to a text or get one when I'm getting ready and they want to see me. They ask my advice on extracurriculars in school and even with homework. Their dad hates it because he and his wife wanted her to fill the mother figure role for them. He told me before I needed to step back and let her do it, and I told him they didn't need to go to her when they had me and grandma. He said his wife deserved a shot to help them through that, and when I step in to help every time, they don't even look to her. We argued, and I never saw that as my problem. She's just his wife after all, and mom can't be replaced. But he thought she could be. He even said they'd never agree to being adopted by his wife if she couldn't take over more of a motherly role. I even asked him why he'd think I'd want that, and I said I knew he'd try to use that to cut the rest of us out of their lives. He didn't deny it. He actually said nobody is irreplaceable, and if I loved my siblings, I'd want them to have a new mom. My siblings have complained endlessly to me and different family members about their dad's wife and how she and their dad try to act like she's their new mom, and how they don't like us or talk about mom or reminders that they already have a mom. Apparently their dad and his wife have a special hatred for me, and it's not hidden at that house. Their dad confronted me on all this stuff again, and he said if I won't let his wife be their new mom, was I going to take over raising them, and I said yes. I'd take custody of them and my grandparents, and I would be happy to have them with us. I told him they are my family after all, and I would do everything to give them a good life. He didn't expect my answer, and he became more irritated and asked me if I was serious. I said yeah. I told him I had even looked into it in case any of them asked me to fight for them, and I had made sure I'd be secure enough to make it work. He went off on me, and I just walked away from him because I didn't see why I needed to let him basically scream in my face. He said I had some nerve and I was supposed to realize the best place for them is with two parents, which he and his wife can give them, and then he threatened to stop all contact between us. I told him the threat my grandparents made still stood, and if he ever tried that, his kids would never forgive him and then he'd lose them forever. It pissed him off even more. I'm ignoring all contact from him right now because he just wants to scream at me via text about how wrong it was to say I'd take custody. Am I the bad person for saying that? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for not believing family therapy is a waste of time for my family and saying it to them during a session? My family is my parents, 53M, 51F, my sister, 14F, and me, 16F. I know my parents prefer my sister. They always let her get away with shit and would pressure me into spending time with her and doing what she wanted to do. They never expected her to also do stuff I wanted to do if she wanted to hang out together. Oh no, it was always she's the youngest, so she gets to do what she wants, and even if you don't want to do that thing, and even if you don't want to hang out with your sister, you must because she's younger than you and wants you to spend time with her. My parents make a way bigger deal out of her birthdays. We have photos of her first birthday where they got 3 cakes made for her, got a professional photographer in to do a 1-year-old cake smash photo shoot, and they spent upward of $250 on her gifts. The gifts are still talked about by family who use my parents as the example of how not to go overboard. In comparison, they didn't actually throw a party for my first birthday, and we have no photos of the day. On the birthday stuff still. My sister could have any party she wanted, and some years she got more than one because she couldn't decide what to do. For her 6th birthday, she got a soft play center with her whole class, trampoline park with her friends, and then a movie party and sleepover with her 3 best friends at the time. For her last birthday, she got to do a spa day with her friends, and our parents let her have a party at our local arcade for most of her class. I could never choose what I wanted to do for my parties. My parents always chose for me and never actually listened when I did say what I wanted. Another way the favoritism shows is report cards. My sister always get a special treat for hers regardless of her grades. One time she had all C's on her report card and still got a takeout of her choice and a gift from our parents. It doesn't matter if I get all A's or mostly A's and 1 B. They never do the same for me. And they lecture me on getting a B because apparently I shouldn't be getting them under any circumstance. The final one I'll mention, but I have loads more. My parents are not okay with my sister being too young or left out of something within the family, but they are okay when it's me. One time my grandparents wanted to take me and the cousins who were my age or older to see a movie that wasn't suited for anyone younger. My parents said no way in hell was that happening when my sister couldn't go. Another time it was an amusement park where my sister was too young and too short to enter. My parents said no then too. But then when my grandparents took all the younger grandkids to an under-10s trampoline park, they had no issue with my sister going and not me. Or the time they signed up for an Easter egg hunt for kids under 12 and again my sister could go, there was 0 complaints made about the fact I wasn't able to go. Because of how my parents raise my sister and treat her, she's insufferable. She wants us to be close and she calls me her best friend a lot. But she's not a good friend or a good sister. She wants everything her own way and shuts down any suggestions I make or the idea that we should both like the things we do. Then she gets really jealous of my friends because I still have friends from kindergarten and before, and she's alienated every friend she has. Even though she does make more occasionally, none last for very long. And when a friendship ends, she always wants me to be there for her. But I don't like my sister. I can't even tell you I love her honestly because I don't really love her. I would be so happy if I was taken away from my parents and her and I never had to interact with them again. I feel like I should love all three of them. Like I know that's normal and typical, but I don't. If anything, I resent them all and feel like they all treat me like I'm just a toy for my sister. And I have tried speaking to my sister and explaining why I'm so distant with her. I tried to point out the issues with my parents, and either they listen and they just don't care, or they refuse to actually listen. I don't know which it really is. My sister has told me she doesn't care what I like and don't like, and we do stuff together because we're sisters and friends and we love each other, and since she's younger she gets to pick what we do. My parents and I fight a lot, and my coldness with my sister upsets her, which angers them. So in December they decided we all needed family therapy. They said it was because our relationships are all strained and need help, but really when therapy started they made it clear I was the issue, and anytime the therapist attempts to question or challenge that, let's blame OP for everything. They either act like she said nothing or they tell her they know what's going on at home better than she does. My sister accuses me of being selfish and treating her like we're not friends. She also brought up how she feels like I prefer my friends to her and how I rub my big friend group in her face, and it pisses her off. She doesn't take what the therapist says seriously either. The therapist finally got them to shut up for a few minutes about 3 weeks ago and asked me some questions, and I answered, and one was about therapy and what I wanted from it. I said nothing because I felt it was a waste of time for us and I had no choice in being there, but I didn't think there was any point in us being there. The therapist lost control in a big way after I said that, and she brought in her boss, who was also a therapist with way more experience, and we transferred over to her, I guess. But my parents still don't listen, and they told me how shitty it was for me to speak up in the way that I did, and ever since I said what I did in therapy they won't shut up about it. The therapist knows and told them not to do it, but they fight back over it. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.